house. I'm sure we don't even need the microphone right now, but good evening and welcome to the 2026 State of the Schools. We're here not just to look at data and figures, but to celebrate the heart of our community, which is our students. Tonight is about sharing the progress we've made together and the bright future we're building for every child who walks through the doors. So thank you for being an essential part of that journey. We appreciate you being here. We all know the deep sense of pride that comes with being a Bulldog. Tonight, we get to pull back the curtain a little bit and showcase the hard work and the success that fuels that pride. So as we go through the presentation, we want to hear your thoughts. You can either submit questions via the QR code that's up here. It's also in your agenda that you picked up at the door as well. And there are cards at the door that can be filled out if you want to just do the pen and paper route as well. Positive thoughts lead to positive results. So our goal is also, we have a board out in the hallway to leave some positive thoughts on what you think of the district. So please take a second to do that if you can. And also grab a snack. We have snacks up front, so please feel free during the presentation to do so. So to share more about the vision guiding our schools, it is my pleasure to introduce the superintendent of the East Palestine School District, Dr. James Rook.
Good evening. Once again, thank you all for coming. I really appreciate all of your support. A couple housekeeping items before we get too far into tonight's program. First, restrooms are located in the back foyer. As Mrs. Altman said, we do have some refreshments up here for you, so please feel free to help yourself. And then also, if you do have a question, there's the QR code that we had up on the screen, and then also you can use a question card, which is in that back table back there, to jot down your question, and we'll make sure, if we don't answer it tonight, we'll make sure that you have your answer very shortly thereafter. So again, thank you for coming. First, want to start by acknowledging our Board of Education. We have 5 really great members, at least one of which I know is in attendance here today, but our president for this school year is Mr. Carson, and our vice president for this school year is Mrs. Andre. They are aligned with Mrs. Kincaid, Mr. Moore, and Mrs. McTrustry. And again, we're very fortunate to have them on our Board of Education. Our administrators here tonight, you have already met Mrs. Altman, our marketing and communications supervisor, but this evening you'll hear from our preschool director, Mrs. Volnagel. You'll hear from our elementary school principal, Mr. Clunan, our middle school principal, Mr. Wells, our high school principal, Mr. Pavkovich, and I do want to also acknowledge our technology director, who is up in the balcony. He is recording our event this evening, and we'll make sure that ends up on our YouTube channel so that those that couldn't join us this evening get the opportunity to hear our story. So very important, first, as you made your way into the auditorium this evening, you probably saw our strategic plan. And that's really important to us because it, one, drives what we're doing. But two, it's also, it captures everything that you're going to hear tonight from Mrs. Volnagel and then these gentlemen. We have 5 key goals for the school district. The first is our academic achievement. That should go without mentioning. We want to make sure that we're producing learners that are capable of not only making the grade here, but being successful after they leave our school district. The second is our finances, making sure that we're good stewards of the taxpayer dollars. So tonight I'm going to share some information with you that deals with our finances to give you a better understanding of where we're at as a district. Our facilities is our third goal, making sure that we're maintaining an environment where students want to be and teachers want to work. Fourth, thanks to Mrs. Altman, is our communication, making sure that we're getting the message out not only to our district but elsewhere to tell our story about some of the great things that are happening here in East Palestine schools. And then our final, and perhaps what most would say is our most important goal, is our school culture, which really encapsulates everything, not only in those 4 previous goals, but everything that we do on a daily basis for our students. And you're going to hear a lot about our culture this evening from our principals. So our schools, here's some rough numbers for you to get you a better idea of who's walking our halls and entering our school district on a daily basis. Right now we sit at 934 students. Because we qualify for the community eligibility provision, all of our students receive free breakfast and free lunch every day. And I should take this time to acknowledge our food service director as well, Mrs. Shredney in the back. She does a tremendous job with our kids, and we're very fortunate to have her. 19% of our students, so 19% of the 934, qualify for special education services or additional supports. So that could be anything from speech pathology to a transition plan when they graduate from high school. We have a 91% attendance rate, daily attendance rate throughout the school district. A 93% graduation rate, which is something that we're very proud of. I believe that's come up by about 5% over the course of the past 5 years or so. And the question I always get is, what's our student-to-teacher ratio here in East Palestine schools? And our student-to-teacher ratio is 14-1, which is the epitome of a small town school district that we're very proud that we're able to interact with students on such a small or individual basis. Here's our enrollment by grade level for this school year. You can see our average class size is around 66 students. That line through the middle tells us our average. And then by grade level. So we can see we have some fluctuations there. Our largest class currently is that 3rd grade. I think they're around right at 80 students. And then our smallest class is at 2nd grade. They're at 53 students this year. Mr. Pavkovich will correct me if I'm wrong a little bit later on, but we're looking to graduate, I believe, right at 60 students this year, the senior class. Our staff, so we have a total of 117 staff members. That includes everybody from principals, teachers, custodians, bus drivers, food service workers. That's everybody in the district, and it's pretty evenly split. We have about 61 teachers and about 55 or so classified staff members as well. They have a 94% attendance rate, which we like to monitor because it tells us that people want to be here. They want to work here in East Palestine schools. 43% of our employees have at least a master's degree. The average years of experience are 16, most of which occur in East Palestine schools. And we're starting to see more retirements lately within the school district. So we are starting to see a younger staff come in. So about 11% of our staff have 2 years or less experience in our classrooms. Our graduates, Mr. Pavkovich and Mr. Wells are going to talk to you a little bit about our graduates later on here this evening. But I want to share some brief information with you to give you an idea of what a graduate of East Palestine looks like. 25% of our students graduate with honors, which is the honors diploma that the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce issues. 39% graduate with at least one industry-recognized credential. So that could be CPR and first aid. It could be their STNA certification. It could be OSHA 10 and OSHA 30, safe working environments, all the way up to handling food, so serve safe. 18% of our students are dually enrolled, which means they're qualifying for high school credits as well as college credits while they're in school here in East Palestine. 18% also complete a pre-apprenticeship program. I think we're up to about 4 pre-apprenticeship programs here at our school district. I'll highlight the building trades program. Those students complete 2 years of a pre-apprenticeship here, and then they move on to a employment with the jobs with the carpentry union following graduation. Also, I'll mention that 34% of our students decide after they graduate our high school to enroll in a post-secondary college or a 2-year program. So about a third of our students go on to further their education following graduation. As Cody fixes our screen here, a couple more things I'll share about our school district facilities, which if you remember is one of our goals of our program in our strategic plan, and that's our new school-based health clinics. So we made an investment of almost $250,000, most of which was grant funded, to institute new school-based health clinics in all of our buildings. So we have one facility at our elementary school and one clinic at our middle school and high school. And what that allows us to do is provide services for students, both in person as well as telehealth, where their parents can be involved, and all of that is paid for either through the school district or through Medicare or their private insurance. So students do not have to leave school to get the medical care that they need. We're also updating our heating and cooling systems throughout the district, as well as our lighting to be more energy efficient. We just received, thanks Cody, with the help of Cody, our new middle school computer lab to make sure that students have access to high quality devices for testing season, which is upon us. Our PA system has been upgraded throughout the school district, and we really took that seriously because of student safety. And what we're able to do is make an all-call through the PA system across the school district, and that message will go out to all of the buildings. So even as we stand here in the high school, we can still be able to communicate with those people inside of our elementary school building. Although you did not see it coming in here this evening, we have our new visitor management system. If you've been in our schools, you've come in and scanned your ID and made sure that you're safe to be with our students, and even had a little visitor tag so that you can be identified as you walk around our facilities. And then finally, our new safety grant allowed us to institute new security cameras as well as safety technology throughout our school district. Some of the newer programs across our schools, and I'm going to allow our principals to talk a little bit more about that, but we're really proud of our Project EP class, which is a new class for us at the high school this year, which is really geared towards community service in our school district. That class is actually in the process of designing and implementing a new pocket park in our downtown East Palestine, and all of that is going to be run through students. All of their ideas are going to be reflected in that park, again, right in the heart of downtown East Palestine. Project Lead the Way is our new STEM program at the high school, which deals with fundamentals of engineering. I briefly mentioned our STNA program. Last school year, we had 2 students graduate our STNA program, fully certified by the state of Ohio, and we did it in a boot camp style. So over the course of 3 or 4 weeks in the summertime, they were able to become STNAs, and both received employment opportunities at Covington Skilled Nursing and Rehabilitation. Our new drones and aviation program is another one of our pre-apprenticeship programs where students get hands-on learning experiences. Our high school now boasts, because of grant funds, a career navigator who meets individually with all students to make sure they have a pathway not only through graduation, but following graduation. We also have a new curriculum from preschool all the way through 6th grade. And that deals with literacy. So if you're a parent that has a student in kindergarten through 6th grade, that would be our Wonders program. And at the preschool level, that will be our benchmark education program. So I want to share real briefly our school district report card, which came out, believe it or not, in the spring, or excuse me, in September of this past school year. And this measures our progress on 7 different dimensions, along with an overall rating. So it's based off of a 5-star rating. Our overall as a district rating was 2.5 stars. So again, that was the same as last school year and the year before. We are working very diligently behind the scenes to improve our student academic performance. You're going to hear a little bit more about that tonight. But we know that we have some work to do, and we're very much up for that challenge. And as you can see, our achievement is starting to trickle up. So we earned 3 stars on our achievement rating, which measures how students do on the state tests. Our progress deals with how students grow on those state tests from one year to the next. So we received 1 star there. We've identified that through the administration and through our teachers as an area that we really need to improve upon as a school district. And then our gap closing measures the degree of proficiency difference between students on the state test, those who have historically scored high and those who have typically struggled, and what that gap is, and really trying to close that gap for all students. Our graduation rate, as I mentioned earlier, sits right around 92 to 93%. Our graduation rate earned us 3 stars on our report card. Our early literacy, which measures student growth from kindergarten all the way through 3rd grade, we earned 2 out of 5 stars on that component of our report card. And then finally, because of some of the programs I've already mentioned to you, the pre-apprenticeship programs and the career-based learning, we were able to earn 3 stars out of 5 on our college and career readiness indicator. So this snapshot here really speaks to that student academic performance component that I was mentioning earlier. This is what's called the performance index. And what it does is it takes all of the tests from all of the students and it scores each test and adds up that score. And so you can see, believe it or not, our performance has either increased or remained the same over time. So this past school year, we were at a performance index of 79.4, and last school year, we were at 80.4. And then you can see this is our 2nd highest performance index over the past 5 years. So last year, around this time, when I spoke to you at our State of the Schools, I said the process of winning is taking place. Okay, and this is really what I mean by that, is our numbers are starting to reflect an upswing, and you're going to hear from our administrators today just all of the great things that contribute to these types of results. I promised I was going to talk to you about our school district finances, and this is perhaps one of my favorite charts that I like to show, because this accounts for not only finances, but it also accounts for student performance. So what this graph shows you, on the left-hand side is our performance index. So that was that 79.4 number that I just shared with you. On the x-axis, or below, is the spending per student. So you can see where we fall, that red dot, compared to all the other school districts in the state of Ohio. So we spend less per student, and we're right at approximately the state average for performance. So in an ideal world, our performance would be in that top left-hand corner, right? Highest performance index for the lowest amount of money. So we're pretty close to getting into that upper left-hand quadrant. So we're right on that line there. And so this speaks to not only being good stewards of our taxpayer dollars, but also spending it wisely towards student performance. Here are the sources of our school district funds. We are actually pretty unique as a school district in that the vast majority, 57%, of our school district budget is composed of state money. Only 26% is composed of local money. So that local money, that's your property taxes, that's your income taxes. So only a very, very small percentage of your taxes actually go towards the school district and be accounted for in our overall school district budget. We do get some funding from the federal government. Those are for our students that have unique learning challenges or needs, students with individualized education plans or counseling and other types of supports. And then other funding comes from grants. So you heard me talk already about some of the grant funding that we received as a school district. So all told, our budget for our school district is right around that $15.5 million range. I would say probably, if I had the numbers in front of me, about 57% of that goes towards salaries and benefits of staff. So a final look at our finances here before I turn it over to some of our building administrators. This is our cost per student over the years. So this is how much, if you take into account all of our expenses, how much we spend per student in the school district. So this year was our highest spending per student in our history. We spent just over $13,000 per student. And we take great pride in that because we want our money to go towards the benefits of our students. So all told, that $13,000 per student costs about $74 per day per student. So my philosophy, before I turn it over to some of our building administrators, my philosophy is pretty simple. This philosophy I shared with our staff at our in-service at the start of the school year. This is a quote from Jim Collins, and he wrote a book, it was called From Good to Great. And he looked at companies that were pretty good, and then he looked at companies that were really great, so your Microsofts, your Apples, and he would try to determine what sets the good from the great. What's the difference? And a years-long study, and what he was able to determine, his key result was that those great companies, it just never occurred to them that they couldn't do what they set out to do. And I think that really speaks to our schools, because you're going to hear from a lot of people tonight. I'm sure you've seen over the course of the school year a lot of people who it just never occurred to them that they couldn't do what they're going to set out to do. And that's something that we take great pride in, and I hope you'll see that tonight. So at this time, I'm going to actually turn it over to our preschool program and Mrs. Volnagel, and you're going to hear from each of our buildings, all the way from preschool through 12th grade, and I will come back at the end to answer your questions. Thank you.
Good evening. It is my honor to share with you the information about our preschool program. And I would like to start my presentation with some data from ODEW about why preschool matters. This comes from the Department of Children and Youth, and it divides, it talks about kindergarten readiness. And kindergarten readiness is determined through the tests that the kindergarten teachers give the kindergartners the first 30 days of school. So you're going to see some information that probably surprise you. Children who attend pre-K in Ohio are 4 times more likely to demonstrate kindergarten readiness compared to the children that do not have any preschool experience. So that's why it's really important that we provide a quality program. Economically disadvantaged kids then who attend preschool are 4 times more likely to demonstrate readiness than economically disadvantaged children who do not attend preschool. And a lot of districts do not have their own programs. They rely on churches, faith-based programs, or daycares, or the ESC. As you can see by the pictures on the screen, that we try to offer our kids different experiences and different ways to learn things. For instance, this afternoon I walked into a preschool classroom and there were baby chicks running around the floor. And the kids were just so excited, and a lot of these kids would never have that opportunity to experience that. Children from well-resourced households who attend pre-K are 6 times more likely to demonstrate kindergarten readiness than their peers that didn't attend. So 42.7% of children with preschool experience demonstrated readiness at kindergarten entry compared to 22.3% without preschool. So this shows the benefits of all children, regardless of what their backgrounds, whether they're in a good home with both parents present and a support system that includes more family members, or they're in a home with maybe one parent present. Preschool provides a basis for those kids to be ready for kindergarten, and then that kindergarten readiness is statistically tied to them doing well on their 3rd grade reading, well on 8th grade testing, and whether they will graduate. So I don't see a lot of people with little kids, and Erica does have our knowledge, but there's a lot of stuff out there that, this QR code will take you to the Ohio Department of Education and the Department of Children and Youth, and it really talks about having children be prepared for kindergarten and doing well in school. So there's 8 benefits of a high-quality preschool. Your child will be ready for kindergarten. Your child will develop important social and emotional skills. So our little babies that come in at 3 years old, they don't know how to take turns for the most part. They want what they want when they want it. And so we kind of focus our 3-year-old program on doing school, being able to get along with people, turn taking, playing games, pretend play with other students. Your child will take part in activities that are planned for him or her. So if you're in a good quality preschool program, there'll be some type of assessment done, and then there'll be planning to meet the needs of your child. Your child will be curious. We focus a lot on inquiry-based learning. All of our classrooms have butterflies, and they have thorn chrysalis. And So they're talking about the life cycle of a butterfly. And when the butterflies emerge from the chrysalis, then when it's warm enough, we'll take them outside and we'll let them go. And the kids, you know, they're making books about all of this, and they're learning science, but they don't know that. Your child will want to learn to take care of him or herself and help others. A lot of our 3s come in, they're not potty trained so much. And we can't prevent a child from not attending preschool that's not potty trained. And so we work on it. I always say Miss Brittany is our best potty trainer. And so we have them in a schedule, and by Christmas, maybe January, most of them are in big girl pants or big boy pants. So it's a growing process, and we like to see them grow in every way. Your child will learn pre-reading and pre-math skills. Our new curriculum is based on, there's letters, and it doesn't go in order of the alphabet. It goes developmentally appropriate letters, letter sounds. They'll start with some sight words. Some of them are ready for sight words at the end of the school year. CVC words and rhyming words. So we present to them all of this. I have a great staff, and we utilize Haggerty along with our benchmark program. Mrs. Hayes, who just joined us in preschool this year, is doing foundations. So a lot like Haggerty, but they're learning sign language, they're learning the colors in sign. So we're giving them a lot of skills to build that basis from. Your child will develop motor skills. We go out on the playground, we go out in the STEM lab, we go to the gym, and beginning of the year, they can't walk in a straight line, they look behind them when they're walking, you know. So this is just teaching them to be in the hallways appropriately, and learning how to control their body. And then they'll increase their language and thinking skills. So we began our program in 2017 with 2 teachers, 4 sections, and now prior to 2017, the ESC had, Columbiana County ESC had a classroom, and it was everything has changed since then, but it was basically based, you could have 8 typical kids and 8 kids on IEPs. But you couldn't have more typical kids than IEP kids or vice versa. So you only had the potential of 32 kids, morning and 16 in the morning, 16 in the afternoon. So our first year taking it over, we had 2 classrooms, 2 teachers, 2 assistants, and we had 72 kids. So there were big classes. And those kids, the oldest ones of them are in 7th grade now. You can kind of see on this graph the way we've grown. And in 2020-21, we started our first full day class, and we still had 2 a.m. and 2 p.m. classrooms. And we've continued to grow. Now we have 4 classrooms. We have what we typically call our 3-year-old classroom. They have a morning and an afternoon session. We had a lot of parents want a half-day program for their 4-year-olds, but we couldn't fill a 4-year-old afternoon. So 5 kids out of each classroom leave before lunch. And that has caused us to rethink our program, because when you lose a third of your classroom, it's hard to go on and introduce something else, because you'd have to go back and reteach. So we focus on other things, but a lot of the kids that go half day would really have benefited from all day. So with that said, we've had 594 little bulldogs receive a preschool experience in East Palestine. And these are just some of the group pictures that I was able to find. But you know, we've had whole families come through our program. I'm proud to say that East Palestine Preschool is a gold-rated program that is based on Step Up to Quality and Ohio's, we've had to meet certain requirements. Our ratios, we have to have so much PD, we have to have so many classes, and they come in, they observe in the classroom, they interview the teachers, and we always say preschool's a different beast, because a kindergarten teacher can have, 15, 16, 17 kids, and she's not required to have an assistant. She would love an assistant, but we have to meet ratio. And so we have to have at least 2 people in the classroom. If we have a child that has several needs, whether it's behavior, medical, different things, we may have another person in the classroom. But this is a picture, we took it this morning because we just found out again in March that we received a gold rating again, and that'll follow us through till next year, and then we wait with bated breath for the inspector to come back. East Palestine Preschool, for the 2026-27 school year, the registration has opened. The students will attend 5 days a week, and we will have a 3-4 classroom and a pre-K classroom, or as many that we need to balance out the numbers. And the pre-K classroom will focus on that kindergarten readiness, and 3-4 classroom will, they'll still focus on the kindergarten readiness, but they focus on social, emotional, and other aspects also. And so this is our crew. They look like a motley crew if you look real close. The sun was shining, and they are not used to the sun shining, and but they're a good group of kids, and we have the majority of our kids going on to kindergarten are more than ready, and I know they'll do amazing things. And with that, I'm going to introduce Rob Clunan, our elementary principal.
Okay, so as Carol said, my name is Rob Clunan and I am the elementary school principal. And the first thing that I want to talk about today is some student achievement data. So as Dr. Rook mentioned, we have been working hard as a DLT this year to refine a little bit our strategic plan, and one of those areas that we are working on is student achievement. We measure student achievement in the elementary school through the use of STAR benchmark assessment testing. So what is STAR testing? STAR testing is a computer-generated test assessment. It is a standardized test, and these tests are designed to measure student proficiency in reading, math, and early literacy. So our students use these tests 3 times throughout the year. We take them in the fall to get a benchmark, then we come back in the winter and take them again, and then we'll come back one more time in the spring to see how much our students have grown. Our kindergarten through 4th grade students use our STAR reading program, which consists of either STAR reading or STAR early literacy, and our 1st grade through 4th grade team use the STAR math. So in looking at some of that data, the first tables that I have up here would be our STAR reading data. So on the left-hand side here, I have the fall 2025 administration. And you can see that I have listed here the students who earned at or above the benchmark scores. Okay, so you go ahead and go down that column there and you can see where those students were. Now we have taken the winter test. So if you look on the right-hand side, you see those students who scored at or above the benchmark on the winter assessment. We have not yet taken that spring assessment. But as you look at this, you can see that every grade level, with the exception of kindergarten, showed growth, which is good. That's what we want. Now, with that kindergarten score, there is one thing that I do want to point out. The kindergarten students will start the year taking what is called the early literacy test. So this would be those basic skills that the students need to be able to read. By the time they take that winter test, many of those students have switched over from that early literacy test to the STAR reading test. So while the number goes down a little bit as far as being at or above the benchmark, the actual growth takes place in the fact that those students who are taking that early literacy test are now taking that STAR test. And by the time they take it in the spring, most of our kindergarten students, if not all, will be on that reading test level. So again, you're seeing growth from these students, and that is what we want to see. One more thing that I do want to point out about the STAR reading test is that these tests grow with the kids. So when the students take it in the fall, it's a different test that they're taking in the winter. They get harder, they grow with the kids. So sometimes you see those numbers don't go up as much as you would hope. That's usually because those tests have gotten more difficult. One other thing that we're very excited about out of the elementary school, and this was actually touched on by both Dr. Rook and Mrs. Volnagel, we have the updated Wonders curriculum for our ELA, that is K through 4. This year we've done a lot of work with that Wonders. We had the company come in and provide some professional development to our staff. We offered our staff, or provided our staff time to meet together as grade level teams to talk about non-negotiables, the things that they need to make sure that they touch in that curriculum. We actually also did some vertical alignment where we would have our kindergarten meet with our first grade meet with second with third. And we would come up with those things that we want to make sure that we are doing as a building to make sure that our kindergartners are ready for first grade and our first grade are ready for second grade. And I do think that using that new curriculum, as well as making sure that we're doing it with fidelity and making sure that everybody is teaching it the same way and using the same things, we are going to see a lot of benefit from that. As far as our math scores, again, you can look at these and see on the left-hand side the fall administration compared to the winter administration. Once again, you'll notice that all of our grade levels, with the exception of one, made growth, having students at or above the benchmark. The one area was second grade. So that was an area that we as a building leadership team looked at. We took the data, we looked at every student by student, to see where do we think we fell a little bit short and why did we go down in that area. We were able to find some students who we thought maybe didn't score as well as they should, or that we thought they would. We also saw some areas that we thought we would need to work on, and we did put a plan in place to make sure as a VLT that those second grade students who maybe fell a little bit short, we're going to get that extra practice, that extra help to make sure that we get them up to where we feel like they need to be. So again, seeing growth in our math as well. So that's a little bit about the student achievement, and then I want to shift a little bit here and talk about our school culture. So again, that would have been our strategic plan goal number 5. And we have 3 main groups in our building that we have as far as culture, and that would be our Principals Advisory Council, our Art Club, and our Ukulele Club. And then we also have some family engagement nights where we bring families in, and we are very proud of these events that we put on. We have our Family STEM Night, which we do in the fall. We have our Family Literacy Night, which is the last 2 years has been the Master Reader, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. And then also our Evening of the Arts. So those are some of the things that we really want to work on as far as our school culture. The first one I want to talk about is our Principals Advisory Council, and you can see here that I have some students' names listed on the board in front of you. These are the students who are members of my Principals Advisory Council. These are 4th grade students. If they have an asterisk by them, that just means that they're on more than one committee or in more than one club. The thing that I'm really impressed with this group is when they decide that they want to be on Principals Advisory Council, they have to fill out an application, and they have to go through an application process, and they have to write down why they want to be on Principals Advisory Council and what they're going to bring to Principals Advisory Council. And these are 4th grade students who are already starting to think in that leadership role. Once they are appointed to Principals Advisory Council, they are given pretty strict leadership expectations. Students will not receive office referrals. Students will be role models for their classmates, for the other students in the building. Students know that if they do get an office referral, they could be removed from Principals Advisory Council. So they have done a really good job of following those Bulldog rules and being leaders for our school. We hold our meetings during lunch and recess every 2 to 3 weeks, so students are giving up some time where they would be with their friends having lunch or playing on the playground, and they give that willingly to give their input and to provide input to our school. And then the last thing that they have to do is each year before they leave Principals Advisory Council, they have to complete a service project, and they have decided that this year they would like to do a collection for the Humane Society. They will be responsible for promoting that. They're going to do that through making some signs and making some announcements on our morning announcements. They will be responsible for collecting the items, counting the items, storing the items, and then delivering the prize to the grade level that wins. So I'm very proud of this group, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to hear from some of our Principals Advisory students, and I hope that you guys are going to be able to hear them.
Okay. What do you guys like best about being on Principals Advisory Council?
What I like best about being on Principal Advisory Council is that we can make better changes with our school.
Great.
What I like about Principal Advisory is that we're it's just it's so much fun, and we just do a lot of fun things.
Great.
My favorite part of being on Teachers Advisory Council is being able to make important decisions that impact the entire school.
Great, great. And what do you think the best thing that we have done so far on Principals Advisory Council has been?
That we donate to any shelter, and we do it every year to help animals and such.
I like also when we sold those chocolates. Those are the best.
Yeah?
Yeah.
To raise some money for our Principals Advisory Council, right?
Yeah.
Evan, what do you think?
I think the best thing we've done in the Teachers Advisory Council is expanding the lunch menu.
Great. Yes, you guys had some input into the lunch menu, right? All right, so last question, guys. Would you recommend to next year's 4th graders, this year's 3rd graders, being on Principals Advisory Council?
Yes.
All
very
right,
fun.
great. Thank you, guys.
I didn't have to pay them to say that. And it's funny because I was joking with Mrs. Altman. I said, I hope you can hear them. And I said, I gave them permission to be loud in the hall, and they still weren't loud in the hall. That's how good these kids are. So very proud of that group. But the next group that I wanted to talk about was our 3rd and 4th grade ukulele clubs. So we do have a 3rd grade group and a 4th grade group. These students are required to attend practice every other week with their ukulele club. They are responsible for taking good care of the equipment that they use, and then they will have a concert at the end of the school year. And this is a very unique club, and I would probably be willing to say there's not a lot of schools that have this type of club available to their students. So again, I wanted to give you the opportunity. There are some pictures up here, but to also hear from some of our ukulele students.
What do you guys like most about being in the ukulele club?
Playing ukuleles.
Getting to be able to play music because I love music.
Great. And when you guys are in ukulele club, is it hard to take care of the instruments?
No.
No? Okay. What do you have to do to make sure that you keep them so that you can use them every day?
Put them in the box the right way and don't try to break them.
Okay, great. Anything else?
Being responsible of taking care of them because they're Mrs. Reeves and we wouldn't want to break them.
Great. Now, what are you most excited about being in ukulele club? What's the best thing you guys have done?
Just like playing and stuff.
Probably learning how to play the ukulele because I never knew how to play the ukulele before I went in.
Great. And are you guys excited about the concert you're going to have at the end of the year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Awesome. And let me ask you one more question. Would you recommend ukulele club to any of our students who are not in the club?
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much.
All right, and then our biggest club, the last one that I want to talk about, is our art club. And as you can see, we have a lot of members who are on our art club, and they are in our art club, I should say. And these guys they meet as well. They meet every other week with Miss Shaner, our art teacher, and they create very beautiful pieces of artwork that they then decorate our halls with. And I'm going to talk here in a minute about the Evening of the Arts. And they get together and they get to create this art. And I want to again give you the opportunity to hear from some of our students.
Okay, let's talk about art club. What is your favorite thing about art club?
I really like the creative liberty of it. I kind of just like being able to create whatever your mind can imagine onto a piece of paper.
Great. What about you, Noah?
I like it because it instead of doing
It's okay.
you can spend your time doing art instead of doing something else.
Okay, great. And what is the best thing that you guys have created at art club this year?
That's really hard. It's like picking my favorite child. I think it would probably be our parallels and tangles.
Great.
Like that.
Great.
It would probably be our shoe design.
That was
Shoe
really
design.
fun too.
Okay, awesome. Sounds like you guys do a lot of really fun things in there. So because of that, I want to ask you, would you guys recommend art club to any students who didn't do it or any students who might be coming up next year?
I think I would. A lot of people here are really interested in art and literacy, so I would probably recommend it.
Great. What do you think, Noah? Would you recommend it?
So I would love it.
Great. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
So that answer there at the end, he was probably the most nervous out of any of the students that I asked to do this. And I loved his answer there at the end. He loves it. He would definitely want to do that or recommend to others to do it. So I thought that was pretty cool. Now, the other thing that we do for our culture is we do put together some evening programming for our families. We do 3 different events. We do a family STEM night that takes place in the fall. Families come together with their children and they have a meal and then they get to walk through the gym and do all kinds of different STEM activities. It's usually a pretty fun night. We also do our family literacy night. We just completed that. We do that more in the spring, and we have the last 2 years done the masked reader. Again, it's an opportunity for families to come together, have a meal before we put on a program for them, and our teachers do a great job with masking up or putting on a costume and reading a story to our students before they have the opportunity to guess, and then we unveil who the masked reader was. Each family takes home a copy of the book that we choose to read, and it is also a really great night. And then our Evening of the Arts coincides with 2 of our grade level choir performances, and while those choir performances are going on, Ms. Shaner and our art club did a great job of decorating our halls so that families can come in and walk the halls and look not only at all of the art, but specifically look for their children's art. And again, it's a well-attended event and a great night for us to bring families in and to bring our community together.
The last thing I want to talk about is our PBIS team. So the previous 2 school years, our PBIS team has received the bronze rating from the State Department of Education. We work really hard to try to recognize students for positive behavior in our building. We do these through things such as PBIS dance parties for students that earn that incentive. We have positive action slips where we catch students doing great things around the school and then read them on the announcements for everybody to hear. We also do positive office referrals where we call home and talk to the parents and the guardians about how great their kids are doing at school before they get to go ahead and get a book vending machine token. And we also have a Bulldog of the Month program where every teacher picks their Bulldog of the Month and they get recognized on the morning announcements. And these are just a few of those PBIS incentives that we do use. And kind of going hand in hand with our PBIS is our discipline. We have had quite a few office referrals this year, a little more than we had hoped, 216 to be exact. However, linking this back to our students who are in those programs, those groups, and those clubs that we talked about, which would be 65 students, only 13 office referrals between those, and those are pretty minor ones at that. So moving forward, I think that what we need to do is continue as a BLT, as a PBIS team, and as our staff, continue to find ways for our students to be in those kinds of groups so that they take pride in themselves, take pride in our school, and put their best foot forward. So with that, I will go ahead and I will turn it over to Mr. Wells and the middle school.
Good evening. As he said, I'm Ryan Wells. I'm the head principal at the middle school. I was with Mr. Pavkovich last year at the high school as the assistant principal and the athletic director, coach of football over here. Some of you probably don't know me. Don't live here, live in West Virginia. Dr. Ricard, West Virginia boy, so that's good. Started my career off in North Carolina, but I'm from West Virginia, went to Oakland High School across the river from East Liverpool. But have been blessed to find my way here after a long time in 2 other states. So I appreciate you for having me, and this is a great place, I can tell you. Reminds me of a lot of the smaller school I was at in North Carolina. But the people in the small town just absolutely love it. So thank you for having me. Anytime you have a new leader come into a building, we kind of hit a reset button at times. My staff and I did that this year. Wonderful staff. I got to know them a little bit my first year in the district. But we kind of live by 2 very, very, very short quotes in our building. Our staff does as well as our kids. Our first one is just do your job. Popularized by Bill Belichick. Anybody that follows sports, you've probably heard him say it. And we focus on understanding our roles in our building, executing our responsibilities, and we trust that others around us are doing the same. And that brings in the team concept of middle school. We teach in teams. Sometimes we have some teachers that intermix between grade levels, but I feel like our staff does an extremely good job of that. So we worry about ourselves, but we also reach out across the aisle and help each other. The second one is stay in your lane. We respect each other's boundaries. Our staff does this, and we teach our kids to do this as well. I think that's extremely important, right? To just respect each other's boundaries. I tell people all the time, as adults, when I need you to step out of your lane because we need help, I'll ask you. Other than that, focus on you, focus on yourself, focus on your team, focus on your kids. And I feel like as a staff, we've done that very, very well this year. I've been extremely impressed. All of the goals that Dr. Rook and I discussed do align with our district goals. But when I was offered this job, we sat down and he really gave me 5 goals to concentrate on, which I thought were very simplistic, that were going to lay a really good foundation for us moving forward. The first one is that office management and the expectations that we have at East Palestine. The roles, responsibilities, and those expectations. So I jokingly say all the time, I just kind of do what Mrs. Cartwright, our secretary, and Mrs. Sherry, our guidance counselor, tell me to do. Mrs. Sherry decided to add this in one of my previous presentations, and I just kind of stuck with it. So they showed me the ropes of East Palestine, and I really appreciate that. I lean them on them a lot, and we work together as a front office unit. Sorry about that. Our second goal, building organization and structure. And I really took advantage of Dr. Rook being in our building prior to me as an administrator. And he kind of fell back on the way he organized things, and I absolutely loved it. We kind of have a thought process that follows the same path. But you know, anybody that walked our halls, it's very traditional now. One thing I am about is tradition. I absolutely love it, so I'm embracing the traditions of East Palestine. So we are going by grade level floors. 5th grade's mostly on that first floor, 6th and 7th on the 2nd and 3rd. But I really reined in student movement. So any of you that may have a child or grandchild in the middle school, the first few weeks they came home and they said, I feel like I'm walking around in prison. They're probably right, because we really control our student movement, because we want kids in the classroom and we want to teach them the structure that they need to really embrace the freedoms that they have in high school. So we have those sign-in, sign-out sheets. They walk around with lanyards. Chose some Ohio State colors. You know, I am in the Buckeye State now. The kids like that. And we changed up some lunchroom and recess procedures. Very organized the way we move about the lunchroom, and the kids really enjoy the about 15, 20 minutes of recess that we give them every single day. It's built a lot of camaraderie amongst them. We let them walk. They can sit in groups and talk. Football, basketball, frisbee, soccer, you name it. It allows middle school kids to really get out some energy that they, build up throughout the course of our day. So I think that we've done a really good job of achieving that. The third goal, management of student discipline. Like Mr. Clunan, we struggled a little early with this. I think my discipline philosophy is strict but fair. Our teachers follow a discipline flow chart, which leads to our office referral system. I know you won't be able to read the ins and outs of this, being as far away as you are, but my teachers have done a fantastic job following this. It's something that I just took straight from East Palestine High School. This is what Dwayne and I used last year, and it really gives our teachers a roadmap of how to deal with classroom management. What's a classroom managed behavior, and what do they need to, what steps they need to take before they send them to me. So we did see a high referral rate at first. Those have dropped drastically. Our main goal is to keep kids in school and in class, and I think that the data that I'll release at the end of the year really shows that. Our kids have done a tremendous job adapting to the new expectations that were put on them, and our staff has as well. We even went as far as making sure they had definitions of everything on the back, so that they can refer to those. A lot of questions at the beginning of the year. A lot of one-on-one or group talks between myself and some students. It's easy to discipline a child, but it's harder to make sure they understand why and to show them the path of the right way. And I tell kids all the time, you walk in, it might not be the clean slate, but after you walk out, it is. They're kids, they make mistakes, and we just have to teach them lessons, and the staff has really embraced that. So it's something that has just continuously gotten better for us. School culture, another thing that you heard Dr. Roach talk about. I made sure that when I spoke to our staff, we really held on to traditions of what we do here at East Palestine. We didn't really add anything new. We're going to talk about that for next year, but I wanted to embrace my first year as administrator here on what we do. And I wanted to learn that. The staff has done a great job of teaching me the way of East Palestine in our building. The one thing we are going to focus on more next year, though, is some parent involvement. We want to get parents in our buildings more. We do things now that we do have them in, and community members. I'll touch on that here briefly next. But when it comes to culture, the clubs that we offer, we're a very busy school. I found that out very, very quickly, and that's a very good thing, because the more you have kids involved, the more they want to be at school, and the more that they're going to bring a positive impact to your school culture. So we have the Ohio Academic Competition, the Builders Club, GATE, which is gifted and talented, Power of the Pen. We have some very good writers in our school. The robotics team, which competed this year. You see the picture up there. And a really very popular program led by Mrs. Cartwright and many community members is the Learn to Teach, Teach to Learn. And this is something that was highlighted and spotlighted at our last board meeting. We had some of our students come in and share some of the projects that they did. Our kids stay after school and they learn to do something. They go home and then they come back and they teach their parents or any community member that wants to come in how to do that. They have made Christmas cards, Christmas scarves, food, work with the crickets. I mean, they've done so many things that they get so excited about. You can tell once a month when we do it, some of them forget their permission slips and they come in and panic thinking they won't be allowed to come. And of course, Mrs. Cartwright always allows them to come. But you would be surprised at the differences in our students that like to do this. Kids that we've probably never hung out together come in and they hang out together, and I can say that Desiree is wonderful with the food. Kids have gone home and cooked meals for their kids, but pay attention to those dates. They're on our website, and everybody's invited, and it's great to see kids kind of come out of their shell, and they love teaching our community members. Some other things that we have an after-school tutoring program that the kids take part of. We have Math Counts, the English Festival. Something that we added and new this year is You Uplift. It's something done by Mrs. Sherry, our guidance counselor. You have a QR code that you can scan there. You also have a website that you can visit. She got a grant, and we have TVs all over our school. And on this is positive messages for our students. They can come from one another, they can come from teachers, even parents can get approval and send in a happy birthday notice to their kids. Something that they may have done that isn't even really school related, that they just kind of want to show off. So our kids see these at the water fountains, they're in the lunchroom, in the hallways, and it's something just to kind of, make sure our kids and our teachers know what's going on with our students inside and outside of school. Well, one thing we're also very proud of is the United Way Mentor Program. The kids meet once a month with their mentors. They learn a little lesson, they might do a little project, and they play games. Half of the court is devoted to basketball, so some pretty good basketball games that happen with our mentors and our kids. A great meal is served every single time, so we get the food reviews. Desiree, always great again. But it's something that once again brings people into our hallways to see what we do. Attendance percentages, as we've moved on throughout the year, have held pretty steady. Very proud of this. Families that kind of need a little push. We have a great program led by Michael Dempster that he brings families in and offers them support to make sure that their kids are coming to school. Everybody can use a little help sometimes in life, and I feel like East Palestine does a wonderful job of helping bring those kids here. We focus on those chronically absent students. You see this by grade level as well. Up around the 20th, 30th percentile here from the head counts to the grade levels. But it's something that we feel either holds steady or falls. So it's something that as a district, I know we work very hard towards improving, and it's something that I think we have a great plan in place. The fifth goal, academic improvement. Mr. Clunan actually gave you the rundown, so he saved me a few slides on STAR. I won't have to explain, so I'll be able to zip through those. But when it comes to academic achievement, I think that Dr. Rook had a great idea. And we sat down and he said, Mr. Wells, I think we just need to let our teachers focus on the kids in the classroom. So we kind of took a lot of fluff out of things, and we just got back to basic teaching. We have tremendous staff members. We have people who can teach. So we let them teach. There were two programs that I wanted to add. One that I used both at Oak Glen when we turned that school around. We used the programs, but we definitely wanted to make it unique to East Palestine. We wanted to develop our own path here. And when I found out that Mr. Clunan was using STAR, I was very excited because now all of that data that he uses at the elementary school, we're going to follow our students all the way through middle school. So those fourth graders are going to come in well-versed. Our fifth graders did. They kind of picked it up and ran with it. I allowed our teachers this year to use STAR in another program called IXL, which some of your kids are there. They may like it, some of them may hate it. It really works, so when they complain about it a little bit, it's a good thing. I've sat at many nights with my own daughter at the kitchen table and went through IXL lessons, so I know how it is as a parent as well. We let them become familiar with it this year. We're really gonna have a plan in place next year, so if any of your kids, grandkids have been talking about that, I'll discuss it a little bit more here in detail, but we've only really focused on those two things, and I'll explain them just a little bit. As Mr. Clunan said, he explained STAR in great detail, so I won't bore you with those details again, but we focus on monitoring that student growth, identifying those learning gaps that he discussed, as well as provide personalized instruction. We want to focus on grade level material, but we also want to focus on bridging those gaps. Kids that may be a little behind a little bit, but this program also allows, along with IXL, those higher level kids, we can push those higher level kids even more so that they don't become stagnant. What we are going to specifically use it for, and what we introduced it to this year, one, instructional planning. We want to help teachers differentiate instruction and assign personalized practice. This enables us to personalize an educational path for your student. So they're going to get that whole group instruction in class, but then they're going to get an individual path through STAR and IXL that they can follow as well. So it's uniquely in tune to what your child needs. It also gives us some predictions on performance. We're going to be able to better predict how they're going to do on benchmarks and better predict how they're going to do on the state test at the end of the year. IXL is something new. Most people in the district probably weren't familiar with this, but IXL is an online personalized learning platform very similar to STAR that offers practice and comprehension curriculum for students. And skipping down there to the last one, the key importance of this is actionable analytics. I am a data nerd at heart. I use it in my profession here. I use it in my coaching. I still coach. But what it really helps us identify is trouble spots in our students. And when we target those trouble spots, we can tailor instruction to give targeted support. And this just isn't for some students who struggle in the classroom or maybe on IEPs. This is also for our gifted students. We can give them pathways to push them even more. And I think it does a great job of covering all spectrums of every kid that walks through our hallways, because it gives them that personalized feel to their instruction. But we are going to have a plan in place for next year of how STAR and IXL we're going to use or be used. We want to give them consistency, but we also want to give them variety. So what you will hear your kids probably say is they're going to use IXL specifically different as they move into subject areas. So whereas a lot of stuff that we do aligns through grade level, we want to vertically align. So we want all of our math teachers to get together and talk, and how are we going to use IXL in math? How are we going to use it different in English? But we also bought the package that now goes with social studies and science. Science is also a tested course at the middle school level of 5th and 8th grade. So all of our core classes are going to have the opportunity to use this in order to enhance learning. Both programs are used, as I said, to enhance learning. Our teachers are the best tool that we have in our school, and we are going to teach them how to properly use that. But STAR in the regular setting, diagnostic testing takes place. The aspects of STAR that will help us in the classroom, grade level content. And one question that we're asking is, do we just want to concentrate on STAR diagnostic testing this year? And that's what we did. We didn't want to overwhelm the teachers, and we didn't want to overwhelm the kids. So we just used that for our state reporting in STAR to take those diagnostic tests and the best benchmarks, much like Mr. Clunan explained. IXL, how kids see it every day. We're going to start taking diagnostics next year. In the classroom, we're really going to use it to differentiate instruction. We have a lot of kids that learn in a bunch of different ways, and IXL is going to help us create lessons to provide that for our students. And how can we incorporate it in our whole group, small group, as well as independent practice? So these are things that we discuss in our BLT meetings that our teachers are going to take to their TBT meetings and discuss, and they report back to me. I'm a major believer in distributed leadership practices. I have great leaders in my building. Our teachers are creating this plan. I'm along for the ride. I have to give the approval, of course, but I have some extremely brilliant professionals in my building that can handle this. So I rely on them to do it. They've done a great job. So they'll be giving me that plan by the end of the year. We are going to break it up. Our small groups are going to look a lot different next year. What we plan on doing is maximizing efficiency in our small groups. We definitely recognize it as a weak part of our school, and we need to make some changes. So on Mondays and Thursdays, small groups will be grouped up in math data. So we'll take that data and we'll group kids to help one another, but also push one another. This also gives kids a variety. They're going to be able to see a variety of different kids than what they normally see in a regular classroom setting. I think it's important for kids to branch out and be in class with other kids. But we want to concentrate on closing the gaps that we have in our kids, and we're going to give them specific pathways to follow. The good thing about IXL is we can assign group games, we can assign group lessons. So a teacher can be working with 5 or 6 kids over here, and other kids can be working on IXL individually on their pathways, and we can mix that up. So just like us focusing on math on Mondays and Thursdays, on Tuesdays and Fridays, we want to look at ELA groupings, and we want to focus on that with our kids. Again, let's give us a variety, right? How can we, I call it like a study hall on steroids, but we want to make it interactive, we want to make it fun, but we want to make it organized. And then on Wednesdays, looking at small groups, the groupings are going to be determined, but we really want to concentrate on kids and give them a place to make up some quizzes and tests in an environment where they're not missing classroom instruction. during the regular classroom setting. Sometimes when kids are absent, sometimes maybe when they need that little extra push, they don't get that in small group. They have to miss classroom instruction. We want to keep them in there, and we'll pull them into small groups to get those things done. But that's kind of the path that we have moving forward. The benchmarks that we have taken, the growth percentile, I fought with STAR today to try to get that. And it resets after I make the changes, so I won't have that data until tomorrow, so I apologize. But we set some goals. We set some district benchmark goals that we thought our kids could achieve and that we worked towards, and I feel we did a very good job of that. District benchmark proficiency, setting those goals, 5th grade at 75% proficiency, 6th, 74, 7th, 53, and 8th was at 54, so it gives us totals of 63.7 proficiency. But we noticed that if you look at the state benchmark proficiencies, that's the gap. We're going to have to improve those gaps. We've started this year, we want to see a really good jump next year. So you do see the state benchmark proficiencies that we have. 7th grade is struggling a little bit, but we're putting a plan together to improve those scores. Our 5th and 6th grade have done a tremendous job. I'm proud of them. But these benchmarks that they hit, what I've noticed with STAR and IXL is our percentages are usually lower than what we have on the state tests. They're two very challenging programs that we use. So the data is trending in the right way, and it's something that we're proud of. We're making strides. The growth percentile that I was able to get a hold of when I was counting it out by hand, we're actually in the low 60% for each group. That means 60% of our kids are showing growth. Now that's significant growth of 10 points or more. Now that doesn't mean proficiency. We still have kids that are very high. It's hard for them to grow. If they're level 4 and level 5 kids, it's very hard for them to grow. They might not have shown a lot of growth, but they're still proficient in the tests that we're taking. And then you can see our math data as well. Kind of usually fluctuates according to class, but you see some pretty high math district benchmark scores in our 5th and 6th grade. But you notice we're going to kind of have to make our district goals a little bit more realistic for our 6th grade. We want to set those benchmarking goals, but then you see our state benchmark proficiency, and we have some work to do in 8th grade. It's something that we're going to focus on, and I know that our math team is focusing on that through integration and vertical integration, and we're working on it as a grade level as well. Their growth percentages are very similar to that of English, right around the 60th percentiles. This I know is difficult to see, some massive numbers here in IXL with our kids and how hard they're working and the goals that they've set. You have kids that kind of get a little addicted to this and they want to plow through these lessons. Right now our teachers are using IXL to go back. We can recognize deficiencies in certain things that are going to be on the state test, and we can assign those things and those standards right before the state test to really give our kids reviews before they go and take it. We are 2 weeks in, almost 3 weeks into state testing in our building. Our building is unique. We test every grade level. Every grade level takes 2 tests, and some of the scores that you see on our district scorecard, a lot of that comes from the middle school. So we understand the importance of that, and we embrace that. And my staff and I look forward to the challenge because we know that every single one of our kids, it kind of rests on their shoulders, and it's something that we're going to motivate our kids moving forward to take pride in that. And I look forward to sharing that plan by the end of the year when we have it ready for you. So questions that they'll have, I'll be able to answer for you. But I'm going to turn it over to our high school principal, Mr. Patrick.
Good evening, guys. I tell you welcome, but we've been here for an hour and 20 minutes, so it's really not welcome. Real fast, I kind of had a different approach with how we want to show what we're doing here at East Palestine High School. I think that the best way for us to elaborate and show what we do and what we try to do is through our kids and the experiences that they have there. As we close out the school session of the State of the Schools, I have the privilege of highlighting East Palestine High School, a place where our students continue to grow, achieve, and prepare for their futures in meaningful ways. What you're about to see is more than just a video. It's a student-created showcase of the many positive things that are happening within our building each and every day. From academic excellence and career-focused opportunities to the arts, athletics, and student leadership, this video captures the well-rounded experiences that define East Palestine High School. It reflects the dedication of our staff, the support of our families, and most importantly, the hard work and pride that our students have. You'll see examples of innovation in the classroom, opportunities that prepare students for college, and careers, the sense of a strong community that makes East Palestine such a special place to be and to work at. Our students took great pride in creating this, and it shows every moment of what an expectation and experience is, and really, what we want East Palestine to be about. We are incredibly proud of the direction we're heading and the opportunities we continue to expand for our students. Understand everything that we try to do at East Palestine now is about opportunities. We want our kids to be able to explore. We want our kids to be able to figure out their path. One thing that I believe wholeheartedly in is that you don't know if you have interest in it if you're not exposed to it. And we've really tried to up that game at the last couple of years here that I've been the principal at East Palestine.
Welcome to an inside look inside our schools. Today, you'll see what makes East Palestine such a special place, from learning in a classroom to activities, athletics, and everything in between.
Academic achievement continues to be a point of pride across East Palestine High School as students demonstrate dedication, perseverance, and a commitment to excellence in the classroom.
We are excited to announce that the East Palestine High School Incentive Scholarship Ceremony is just around the corner. Taking place May 4th at 7 p.m. in the high school auditorium, the special evening will celebrate the hard work and accomplishments of our students as they take important steps towards their futures. The tradition is excellence continues, and we look forward to seeing our community come together to recognize their success.
Our culture of achievement is also reflected in the continued growth of the East Palestine National Honor Society. This year, we proudly welcome the 2026 inductees. These students exemplify scholarship, service, leadership, and character. Their dedication sets a strong example and represents the very best of our school community. As we move into the final stretch of the school year, students will also be showcasing their learning through end-of-course testing from April 20th through May 1st. This is another opportunity for us to demonstrate the knowledge and the skills we have built throughout the year.
This has been a successful year at the high school, especially in athletics. Our student athletes have earned recognition across the board, with many selected to first team and second team EOAC, as well as honorable mention and All-Ohio honorable mention honors. Several athletes also represented our school in the Columbiana County and YSN All-Star Games. We're also proud to have student athletes continuing their careers at the next level, including Amara Wilson, who is committed to play volleyball at Bethany College.
Bulldog Wrestling program has made major strides this year, breaking multiple records and sending athletes on to compete at the district level. We also celebrated a historic milestone with the first female wrestler from EP qualifying for the OVAC Championship Finals. Our athletic programs continue to grow as well, including the development of our swim team as an official high school sport, giving students the opportunity to build skills early and compete at the varsity level.
On the football field, our team showed incredible determination, advancing to the second round of the playoffs. Looking ahead, we're excited to welcome new head football coach Rick Shepis next season and the leadership he will bring to the program.
Success in competition at EPHS extends beyond athletics and into our academic and extracurricular programs as well. Our robotics team has had an outstanding season. Their hard work, innovation, and teamwork have propelled them to the 2026 Ohio VEX V5 High School State Championships. It's been a year full of hard work, growth, and achievement, and we're proud of all our Bulldogs have accomplished.
Creativity continues to thrive at EPHS, where students are embracing opportunities to express themselves and share their talents with the community. This year, The East Palestine Drama Club brought the stage to life with their production of The Little Mermaid. After weeks of dedication and hard work, our classmates delivered a magical performance that showcased their talent, teamwork, and passion for the arts. From acting to new elements of stage design, it was truly a celebration of creativity.
Our performances also took the stage in the one-act play competition this fall, offering an evening filled with laughter, creativity, and friendly competition. These performances gave students the opportunity to take risks, build confidence, and shine in front of a live audience. In the visual arts, our classmates made an impressive showing at the Columbiana County Art Show, where they demonstrated outstanding creativity and skills. Their work reflected both artistic talent and a strong commitment to their craft.
Music continues to be another area of excellence in EP. Our school was well represented at the All-County Band, where 6 of our students delivered an outstanding performance after days of rigorous rehearsal. In addition, one of our juniors proudly represented East Palestine at the YSU High School Honor Band, performing alongside the university's wind ensemble in a truly enriching and memorable experience. Through art, music, and performance, we continue to grow as creative individuals, building confidence, exploring our talents, and taking pride in every opportunity to express ourselves.
Connection and collaboration across all grade levels continue to be a source of pride throughout the East Palestine School District. This year, we celebrated our first annual middle school band night, where students in grades 6 through 8 joined the high school band for a memorable evening of music and performance. From marching together to a fun, high-energy finale, it was a powerful example of how shared experiences can bring our schools together and build lasting traditions. Our high school students are also stepping into leadership roles and making a meaningful impact on younger learners. Through events like the Cookie and Crafts celebration hosted by the Project EP class, elementary students enjoyed a day filled with creativity, connection, and holiday fun, guided by some of our oldest Bulldogs. These connections extended into classrooms as well. Students in our child development class had the opportunity to work directly with preschoolers, gaining hands-on experience while building relationships with our youngest students. These moments strengthen learning and foster a sense of unity across all our campus.
Community involvement continues to be a strong part of the high school experience. Government students completed an impressive 1,467 volunteer hours this year, with 59 students giving their time to support our school, neighbors, and local community.
Students are also making meaningful connections through small acts of kindness. Our Rotary Interact members wrote and delivered handwritten letters to residents at Christian House, while Spanish Club students shared Valentine's cards with residents at Covington.
Throughout the year, students have continued to spread joy by visiting local care facilities, sharing music, performances, and holiday spirit with the community.
The East Palestine School District also spent time honoring and thanking local veterans through a special breakfast and assembly, giving students the opportunity to personally express gratitude for their service and sacrifice.
Preparing students for life beyond the classroom is a priority at East Palestine High School, and this year, real-world learning has taken center stage. Through innovative programs like DSPU, students are gaining hands-on experience and industry-recognized credentials that prepare them for meaningful careers immediately after graduation.
Financial literacy is another key focus. During Huntington Bank Reality Days, we stepped into real-life scenarios, managing budgets, balancing expenses, and making important financial decisions. These experiences provide valuable insight into the responsibilities of adulthood and the importance of planning for the future.
We also have the opportunity to gain critical life-saving skills. Through CPR training, we can earn certifications that not only support graduation requirements, but also equip us to respond confidently in emergency situations, making a difference when it matters most.
Career-focused learning continues in programs like Building Trades, where we visit active construction sites and learn directly from industry professionals, gaining a deeper understanding of the planning and development process. In the classroom, students in engineering essentials are tackling real-world challenges by designing natural disaster relief plans, managing budgets, and presenting their ideas to mock city officials, developing problem-solving and leadership skills along the way.
Our Project EP course further strengthens these connections, giving us the opportunity to collaborate with local leaders and contribute to real community initiatives while building confidence and leadership experience. Additionally, new opportunities like the STNA program are preparing students for careers in healthcare, providing hands-on training and the chance to earn certification as a nursing assistant. Through authentic experiences, meaningful partnerships, and hands-on learning, we are gaining the knowledge, skills, and confidence we need to succeed beyond high school.
School spirit is alive and well at our high school, where pride in our school culture can be seen in the hallways, classroom, and gatherings throughout the year.
One of the most visible celebrations of that spirit comes through our pep rallies, where we come together to support one another, celebrate our teams, and build excitement for upcoming events. These gatherings highlight the energy, unity, and enthusiasm that define what it means to be a Bulldog. From decorating displays for seasonal celebrations to highlighting school events and achievements, our students help bring the building to life and showcase what it means to be a part of a connected school community.
At our high school, our PBIS framework is all about taking pride in ourselves, in our actions, and our community. It means showing respect, making positive choices, and contributing to a supporting school environment every day. That commitment has been recognized at the state level, as our high school was honored for exceptional implementation of PBIS, reflecting the consistent effort to teach and reinforce positive behaviors. Students are recognized and rewarded for demonstrating these values, earning points that build up over time. These points reflect the kind of culture we're building together. This year, those efforts paid off with our mid-year incentive trips to Pastimes Arcade, where 98 students were awarded. And we're not done yet. Students are continuing to work towards our end-of-the-year incentive, a trip to Kennywood on May 8th.
Through PBIS, we're reinforcing building pride, responsibility, and a stronger school community.
From academic achievements to athletics, from creative expressions to real-world learning, and from unified schools to a vibrant school culture, every class, every program, and every experience reflects one shared purpose: pride in who we are and what we accomplish together as Bulldogs.
And that was pretty awesome. I mean, if you think about it, I worked with our kids on this. We created a framework for this. It made me extremely happy because it's exactly what I would, if I was doing this, what I would be saying, what I would be showing. To me, it shows us that what we are trying to emphasize to the people in our high school is working. They believe in it, they've embraced it. You know, pride is a very big word in what we're trying to do. We want our kids to have pride in the school, pride in the community, pride in what they do. Obviously, that connects with our PBIS framework and stuff like that. I think it was great. There was a ton of kids that were involved, and they wanted to be involved in this. And to me, that's success. You know, we are giving them a framework, and they're able to use their skills and then things they learn to create stuff like this. I ain't gonna lie to you, when I didn't know where this was gonna go when I had this idea, and then when we finally did the final edits, and you know, I saw the finished product, you know, it actually shocked me. I was like, holy cow. You know, we're doing something good here. You know, our kids, they believe. Our kids are having a great experience in our high school. And, you know, I'm not a very smart person, as I tell people all the time. But if we create an environment where kids are enjoying themselves, they want to be a part of it, you know, we're going to create an environment where learning can occur, where kids want to succeed, and then that becomes what our expectation is. And then once that expectation changes, the community, the school community changes with it. So again, I couldn't think of a better way to try to give you guys the state of what we're doing in our high school than to actually show you guys what our students are doing and what they believe in. So without further ado, I'm going to step off the stage, and I'm going to pass the mic over to Dr. Rook for the closing.
Thank you to all of our building administrators on showcasing all the wonderful things that are going on in East Palestine schools. At this time, I'm going to answer some of the questions that came through anonymously through our QR code. There are 4, and I'll run through these briefly here. The first is, how are the state test scores tied to state funding for our schools? So they are not. Our performance on the state tests has no impact on our state funding. The second question is, what clubs or extracurricular activities are available to 5th graders? Is there a gifted program or a STEM program? So Mrs. Wagner is our 5th grade math teacher who runs our GATE program, which stands for Gifted and Talented Education. They traveled quite extensively last summer. I think we even had a couple students fly a plane, believe it or not, out of the Pittsburgh airport. So really, when it comes to gifted education and STEM education, Mrs. Wagner is a fantastic example of that in the 5th grade, and I would encourage everybody to take advantage of that gifted program at the middle school. And then the third question is, are there any additional opportunities for advanced educational programs for gifted students? So in addition to what we just talked about at the middle school level with our gifted and talented program, you can see our high school has many advanced courses that students can take, whether that's college credit plus courses, whether that's honors courses, to a whole host of different programs that are available to the advanced learner. I'd like to summarize when someone asks me about East Palestine schools. I really truly believe that there is something for everybody. And if you're not taking advantage of that, we would encourage you to do so, because chances are we have a club or a program that will meet your needs as well as your interests. And then the final question I have that was submitted anonymously through our QR code is, does the school have a plan with the tax levy not passing to provide students with the highest quality of education they deserve with an ample teaching staff? And the short answer to that question is yes, of course. So on the November ballot, you'll see we'll be placing that earned income tax levy back on to provide us with all these great opportunities that you see here tonight, but also certainly our teachers and our staffing to make sure that all of our kids have what they need. And with that, I will conclude our 2026 State of the Schools. Again, I really appreciate all of your time and attention here tonight. If you missed something, it will be recorded and passed on to YouTube, posted onto YouTube later this evening or tomorrow. And again, thank you for your support of our schools.